Panther fans, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Primetime Sports. I'm Nathan there. There's 430 athletes on average at each NCAA university, all of them with dreams of going pro. At Georgia State, we're lucky enough to have some representation of our own in the National Football League. And with the latest NFL season here, we will have yet another chance to see one of our Panthers on the biggest stage and maybe even in the biggest moments. Jasmine Presley has more.
Former Georgia State kicker Will Lutz is now the starting kicker for the New Orleans Saints. Originally, Lutz was signed to the Baltimore Ravens May 6th, but then waived in late August. However, the Saints reached out to Baltimore, who gave Will a great recommendation. After what Saints head coach Sean Payton called, quote, the best kicking workout he'd ever seen, the Saints cut their 5-year veteran kicker, thus making Will the starter. The Saints open their season this Sunday at 1 p.m. against the Oakland Raiders. I'm Jasmine Presley, here for Primetime Sports.
Thank you, Jasmine. Even though it's all about the Dirty Birds, we're looking forward to seeing Will Lutz punch it in for the Who Dat Nation. I'm now joined by Caleb Johnson, who's here to explain what in the world happened for Georgia State against Ball State this past Sunday, man.
I think it was just a level of a bit unprepared. You know, the hype came in from last season. They were ready to go, and unfortunately, the offense just wasn't there for Georgia State. And Ball State just, you know, they truly balled out. They performed. They were able to score and hold Georgia State's offense and rushing game to minimal. So it was just, it was a poor performance, and we hope to see better things.
Yeah, so off that loss, it was supposed to be an expected win for Georgia State.
Yes.
We're going against Air Force this coming Saturday. It's a very hyped game with social media and all that. So what are some of the biggest things that you know going into this game for Georgia State and Air Force?
All right, so one of the things we need to understand about Air Force is being a military school, that means there's things a little bit different about how they run their program. That means they get 5 fewer hours in the week to practice. That means they aren't allowed to redshirt their players. And also, when it comes to their offense, they run an offense that's very unique in this country across universities, because most would kind of title them as a triple option style offense, but in fact they run triple option. Sometimes they run I form, sometimes no huddle. I mean, they just switch it up constantly. And so part of the preparation that Georgia State's had to make this week is getting ready to figure out what kind of offense Air Force is going to throw at them. Part of that has been with them bringing in Jaquez Parks at quarterback. So bringing him in, he's a very mobile quarterback, so they're able to use him knowing that he won't be the starting quarterback. They're able to use him to kind of figure out this Air Force offense and run so their defense can somewhat prepare to play. They know they're going to be playing in Colorado, which means thin air, right. So a lot of substitutions for Coach Miles, for the players that he'll put out there. But that means the kicking game will be better, so it'll be interesting to see.
It will be. So this past Sunday against Ball State, we saw Connor Manning get the start, and Aaron Winchester ended up getting the ball late in the game. So we're still having some questions as far as who the starting quarterback is. So who do you think starts this game for Georgia State against Air Force?
All right, so I think the starter in this game will be Aaron Winchester. I mean, the small production that we saw out of him at the end of that Ball State game looked good. Now, he ran the ball way too much, and Coach talked about in the press conference after that game that he wanted to see Aaron pass the ball more. He actually had plays where Aaron was supposed to pass the ball, and Aaron decided to run. So I think I would like to see Coach swap because Coach Miles did say that both players will play in this game. We'll see both quarterbacks, and I think if he starts Aaron, I think this game might be interesting as far as, you know, where the score lies, because Aaron can really play. He can really throw the ball. And I think Connor can also really play, but Connor's got to be more comfortable throwing the ball downfield, trusting his receivers, and, you know, this short game only works so far. I mean, last week we saw against Ball State, the short game got them in difficult third down situations, and it proved problematic for the team. So I think I think Aaron starts. Connor will come in the second half, just as we saw last week, and it'll be interesting to see how this quarterback competition progresses.
Right. So with all that in mind, Caleb, who wins this game against Air Force?
Unfortunately, I think Air Force wins this game. Hopefully, it happens just like last week. Last week I picked Georgia State and Ball State won, so hopefully picking Air Force this week means that Georgia State will win, but I just think they're outmatched. I mean, Air Force is a very talented team. Their coach has been there since I think about 2007, and so he really knows what he's doing, switching up the offense that they produce so well. They really played well against Abilene Christian in their first game. They're coming out with these hot uniforms that everyone around the country is talking about. So I think Air Force wins, and I'm even going to go as far as putting a score out there. I think they keep it close in the first half, but final score, 37-17.
Okay. Well, Caleb, thank you for joining us today. Now following up with a story brought to you last week. After Hannes Burmeister's hat trick against Memphis, he received the Sun Belt Player of the Week for the second straight week. Primetime's Malik Brown caught up with Burmeister to get his thoughts on receiving this honor.
The men's soccer team has had a strong opening to the season, due in large part to the play of German native Hannes Burmeister. Hannes has already won GSU Athlete of the Week and Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week twice. The sophomore scored a hat trick in the team's home opener and followed that up with another one last Friday against Lipscomb. I asked Hannes how he felt about the accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good feeling for me, of course. It's more important that we won our games, but if I have personal goals, of course, and I'm glad that I scored 6 goals in the first 4 games. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
All success starts somewhere, and for Hannes, it was going back to his hometown in the offseason to improve his game.
So I went back home to Germany during summer, and I worked a bit harder and practiced a bit more, also fitness-wise, and I think I'm well prepared this season, and yeah, that helps me a lot. Actually, my other coaches told me after the last season that the second season is always like tougher because the other teams know you or know more about you.
Bring you the latest on Georgia State Sports News, I'm Malik Brown.
Thank you, Malik. The men returned to action today against Brown University. The ladies, on the other hand, lost 4-0 against Western Kentucky last Sunday. They returned to action this Sunday against Southeastern Louisiana. After coming out of the Bruiser Showcase with a 1-2 record, the volleyball team went down the street to Georgia Tech for the Georgia Challenge. RASHAD Milligan made the trip and gives us more details on the results.
The Georgia State indoor volleyball team has spent their weekend here at Georgia Tech at the Georgia Invitational. Earlier on Thursday, the Panthers dropped their first 2 matches 3-0 against UGA and Georgia Tech. The Panthers will conclude the tournament today at 3 o'clock against KSU.
Former high school All-American Celeste Friesen is wrapping up the 3rd tournament of her college career. In the 3 tournaments, Friesen has compiled 104 digs. She said the game's atmosphere was the biggest adjustment for her.
I've learned that you have to deal with the fans and like the environment around. It's a lot different from high school and clubs, so I'm getting used to it, yeah.
Georgia State currently holds a record of 3-5, which puts the program 4 wins away from matching last season's total.
The Panthers will return to the sports arena next weekend with the tournament of their own at the GSU Invitational. For Primetime Sports, I'm RASHAD Milligan.
Thanks, RASHAD. The ladies of the cross-country team came in 2nd place in their season opener with the help of freshman Angela Alonso's 4th place finish. The team travels to Grand Prairie, Texas to compete in the Gerald Ritchie Invitational tomorrow. That's all I have for you today. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the latest Georgia State sports news. Follow us on Twitter at Primetime Sportz with a Z, and like us on Facebook. I'm Nathan there. Have a great week.